We are coming on the air with the breaking news from President Trump's meeting with China's President Xi Jinping. Their face-to-face meeting just wrapping up in South Korea. The world's two largest economies trying to figure out a trade deal after months of imposing tariffs on China. President Trump came into these talks hoping to end his trade war with China. Before the meeting, Trump saying the two sides had agreed to the framework of a deal. That agreement focusing on everything from tariffs to fentanyl to ending the Chinese boycott of American soybeans, which has been a major blow to some American farmers. The deal would also loosen restrictions on China's sale of rare earth minerals. They are critical for making smartphones and cars. And just moments before the meeting, Trump saying on social media he ordered the Pentagon to begin nuclear testing on an equal basis to other countries, saying that will start immediately. Let's get to our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott. She's traveling with the president. Rachel, what are you learning about any agreement here?
Well, the president walked out of this nearly 2-hour-long meeting with Chinese President Xi to announce that a trade deal has been reached. The president had threatened a 100% additional tariffs on Chinese imports, which would have raised the cost on everything from clothes to electronics. As of right now, it appears that has been averted. The president telling reporters on Air Force One that China has agreed to purchase soybeans from American farmers and crack down on fentanyl, and also loosen those restrictions on those critical rare earth minerals that you were just talking about that are key to making everything from smartphones to electronics to cars. The president in turn then dropping the tariff rate by 10% to 47% on Chinese imports. This deal, though, Perry, only lasts for 1 year. So it's going to be critical for these two leaders to keep in contact. The president told reporters that President Xi does plan to travel to the United States at some point soon, and that the president plans to go to China in April. And Perry, just one last thing, because you did mention that the president did direct the Pentagon to continue nuclear testing for the first time in decades. The president asked about this on Air Force One, said this had nothing to do with China per se, but it had to do with other countries now starting and actively pursuing their nuclear testing. And he says he believes the U.S. should move forward with that as well, Perry.
Rachel, this is the first time Trump and Xi have met in person for the first time in about 6 years now, this meeting lasting about an hour and 40 minutes. What do you make of the timing of this meeting, how long this meeting lasted?
Yeah, the president said heading into this meeting that this meeting could last for 3 to 4 hours. It was notably shorter than that, and I believe that is because the president's top advisors have been working on the sidelines of his trip here in Asia, really trying to hammer out the framework of an agreement to really avert the trade war, that additional 100% tariff that the president had threatened. And so the president was very optimistic heading into this meeting. He believed that these two leaders were going to reach a deal. Again, these are the two world's largest economies here coming into meet to try to figure out a path forward. And the president ultimately walking out of this meeting saying that they have a deal and that they plan to sign it very soon, Perry.
Rachel Scott, thank you. Let's get now to ABC's Britt Clenich. She is in Hong Kong. President Trump says he will now travel to China in April. Also, Britt, Trump saying that this meeting today on a scale of 1 to 10 was a 12. You have covered the impact of this trade war for months now. What's your reaction to these talks?
Yeah, Perry, well, a truce of sorts it may be. We've been on the ground inside factories in eastern China. We've seen firsthand recently where they are heavily diversifying production away from U.S. customers, because they haven't seen America as a reliable partner for some time. But, those I've spoken to, they say they still recognize it's an important market and want to see business with Americans return. But, as a general rule, when it comes to covering China, reading the tea leaves, you always look at what it does, not what it says. And we've also seen China produce these long-term plans with a focus on self-reliance in tech sector, for example. Another indication that despite stabilization in relations with the U.S., China has economic challenges at home. It wants to bring down the temperature, yes, but it's also preparing for the long-term rivalry with the U.S. to continue, Perry.
Britt, thank you. Now we also have to see what effects this has on the global economy starting tomorrow. Britt.